Welcome to the Unraveling the Scriptures channel. The city of Babylon is shrouded in mystery. Biblical narrative tells us it was there that God confused the peoples with new languages, leading them to spread across the world as descendants of Noah's children. Sacred scriptures also mention that Babylon was initially inhabited by the Sumerians, descendants of Cush and Nimrod, who settled in the land of Shinar and some cities, even attempting to conquer Assur in Syria, which belonged to the Semites. But what is the true origin of the city of Babylon? In this video, I will specifically address this ancient city. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. The origin of Babylon according to the Bible and history. Babylon is an ancient city located on the lower Euphrates River in southern Mesopotamia. It was the main cultural and political center of the Akkadian-speaking region, with its rulers establishing two important empires in antiquity, the Old Babylonian Empire, dating back to the 18th century BCE, and the Neo-Babylonian Empire, from the 6th and 7th centuries BCE. Additionally, the city served as a regional capital under other empires, such as the Achaemenid Persian Empire. Babylon was one of the most important urban centers of the ancient Middle East until its decline during the Hellenistic period. Scriptures mention that one of Cush's sons, named Nimrod, was linked to the city's founding. For those unfamiliar, Cush is the progenitor of African peoples. One of his sons held the land of Shinar, also known as Shirnir or simply Babylon. However, this land originally belonged to the Semites. One of Cush's descendants, not all, ended up residing there with his people and tribe. This man, named Nimrod, was the ancestor of the Sumerian peoples who inhabited the Mesopotamian region. The earliest known mention of the city of Babylon as a small town appears on a clay tablet from the reign of Sharkali-Sheri, dated to 2217 BCE, during the Akkadian Empire. At that time, Babylon was a religious and cultural center but not an independent state, nor was it a major city like others in Mesopotamia. It was subject to the Akkadian Empire, which united all Akkadian-speaking peoples, including Semites and Sumerians, descendants of Cush, under a single government. After the collapse of the Akkadian Empire, the southern region of Mesopotamia was dominated by the Gutian dynasty, a people likely of similar origin to the ancient Persians, for a few decades before the rise of the third dynasty of Ur, which encompassed all of Mesopotamia, including the city of Babylon. The city became part of a small independent city-state with the rise of the First Babylonian Empire, known today as the Old Babylonian Empire, around the 19th century BCE. The Amorite king Hammurabi established the short-lived Old Babylonian Empire in the 18th century BCE, elevating Babylon to prominence by proclaiming himself its sovereign. Southern Mesopotamia became identified as Babylon, surpassing Nippur as the sacred center of the region. The empire weakened under the reign of Samsu-Luna, Hammurabi's son, and Babylon endured long periods under the dominion of the Assyrians, Kassites, and Elamites. After being destroyed by the Assyrians and subsequently rebuilt, Babylon became the capital of the short-lived Neo-Babylonian Empire from 626 to 539 BCE. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon were considered one of the seven wonders of the ancient world, supposedly existing between approximately 600 BCE and 1 CE. However, doubts exist about their actual existence since contemporary Babylonian texts do not mention them. After the fall of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, the city came under the rule of the Achaemenid, Seleucid, Parthian, Roman, Sasanian, and Muslim empires. The last known evidence of habitation in the city dates back to the 11th century, when it was referred to as the small village of Babel. Babylon was estimated to be the largest city in the world around 1770 to 1670 BCE and again from 612 to 320 BCE, possibly being the first to reach a population exceeding 200,000 inhabitants. Now, speaking about the name Babylon and its origin, we know that the spelling Babylon is a Latin representation of the Greek Babel, derived from the native Babylonian, i.e., Akkadian, term Babelim, meaning gate of God or God's gate. Anu, in Akkadian, also means God. Therefore, Babelim can be understood as gate of the gods. The corresponding cuneiform script would be ka with acute.digr.ra. This term corresponds to the Sumerian phrase, Kendigarak, where Ka with acute is the logogram for gate, Dijar means God, and Arik represents the coda of the word Digir, followed by the genitive suffix ak. The ending, ki, is a determinative indicating that the preceding signs should be understood as a place name. Archibald Sayce, writing in the 1870s, postulated that the Semitic name was a borrowed translation of the original Sumerian name. However, the interpretation of Gate of God is increasingly seen as a popular Semitic etymology to explain an originally unknown non-Semitic place name. In 1955, I.J. Gelb argued that the original name was Babila, with unknown meaning and origin, as there were other places with similar names in Sumer. Additionally, there are no examples of Sumerian place names being replaced by Akkadian translations. Gelb deduced that later the name was transformed into Akkadian Babili, and that the Sumerian name Kandigarak was an adopted translation from the popular Semitic etymology, not the original name. The retracing of the Semitic name to Sumerian would have occurred during the Neo-Sumerian 3rd dynasty of Ur. A fragmentary inscription from the early dynastic period, probably in Akkadian, mentions an unknown lord who was governor of Bar.ki.Bar and built a temple for Marduk, suggesting the city could be Babylon. During the ED3 period, the placement of signs was relatively fluid, allowing the Ki sign to be seen as a determinative and the city name to be Bar.Bar, possibly pronounced as Babur. Polalan Bolyu proposes that the original name could mean bright or white. Over time, it would likely that the name was read as Babur and later as Babil, with a shift from the consonant R to L. The earliest unequivocal mention of the city of Babylon appears in one of the year names of Sharkali Sheri, written as Ka.Dinger.Ki, indicating that the popular etymology was already widely known in the Sargonic period. Some argue that the enigmatic ruler mentioned in early Akkadian texts was likely a reference to the Lord, primarily identified as Nimrod in the Bible. The original form of the name, Babur or Babbur, was not forgotten, as indicated by the phonetic spelling Ba during the Ur3 period, and by the variants Pambalu and Babalu in the Kassite era. Another documented writing form for the city of Babylon is Tin.Ti or .Ki, occasionally found during the Old Babylonian period but becoming more popular in the late 2nd millennium BC and widely used in the 1st millennium BC. The spelling E.Ki is also found in the 1st millennium BC. In the Hebrew or Phoenician version, the name appears as Bavel. In Hebrew Phoenician, it is Bel, in Classical Syriac and Imperial Aramaic it is Bawel, and in Arabic it is Bel, pronounced as Bel, interpreted in the Book of Genesis simply as confusion, derived from the verb bilbal, meaning to confuse. In modern English, babble or speaking foolishly is considered especially derived from this name, though there is no direct connection. In Pali and Sanskrit literature, the name appears as Bavru, which refers to the city of Babylon. Ancient records occasionally use Babylon as a term for other cities, including places like Borsippa, which was within Babylonian influence, and even Nineveh for a short period after the Assyrian sack of Babylon. In the Bible, we know that Nimrod likely founded this city or assumed dominion over it, which already belonged to the ancient Akkadians or Semites. Descendant of Cush, Nimrod took possession of the city and began his reign there, being recognized as the first ruler of that region, as described in Genesis chapter 10. Cush, the son of Ham, also fathered Nimrod, the first mighty man on the earth. He was the most daring and courageous of hunters before the Lord. For this reason, there was a saying in ancient times, valiant like Nimrod. Initially, his kingdom included the city of Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Babylon or Shinar. He departed from there to Assyria, where he founded several cities, such as Nineveh, Rehoboth-ir, and Calah. It's interesting to note that his kingdom included Babel, but there's no mention that he founded Babel or Akkad. Originally, both Akkad and Babel were Semitic domains, belonging to Semitic territories. However, Nimrod, a descendant of Cush known as the Bold Hunter, conquered these lands and began to rule there. He also founded other cities in Semitic territories due to his dominion. Thank you to everyone who has watched the video so far. Subscribe to the channel, leave your likes and comments requesting more videos, as I'll be bringing more content on the origins of cities, kingdoms, and other topics. May God bless you, and see you soon.